A relentless rain lashed against the asphalt, blurring the empty highway outside the city limits. A lone pickup truck braked, its headlights cutting through the gloom, drawn to the erratic dance of police lights in the distance. The driver, a man weathered by time and etched with unspoken stories, killed the engine. He stepped out, the chill wind biting through his worn clothes, and froze. A horrifying tableau unfolded before him. A female officer lay motionless beside the twisted wreckage of her patrol car. Blood, illuminated by the flashing lights, painted a grim masterpiece on the rain-slicked road. He rushed forward, his heart pounding against his ribs. "Back up! They're not coming," she whispered, her voice a fragile thread against the storm's roar. Adrenaline surged through him. He ripped off his jacket, the movement swift and practiced. A knife appeared in his hand, a flicker of honed steel in the darkness. He slashed through the seatbelt, trapping her, his movements economical and precise. Kneeling beside her, he pressed hard on the gaping wound, his face grim. "Stay with me," he commanded, his voice calm amidst the chaos. "I've seen worse. You're not dying tonight." 1 hour later, a sterile hospital room hummed with life-saving machinery. The police captain, a man hardened by years on the force, stared at the flawlessly stitched wound, his hands trembling almost imperceptibly. "Who the hell did this?" The answer came, a hushed whisper filled with awe and disbelief. "That's military precision. Jack Rowan, 40 years old, a single father haunted by ghosts. He woke up every morning at 5:30 a.m. in a small, unassuming house on the edge of town, the kind of place where neighbors waved politely but respected unspoken boundaries. In the cramped kitchen, sunlight struggling to pierce the dawn, he meticulously packed lunch for his daughter, Ella. She was 10, with eyes that sparkled with curiosity and an insatiable thirst for knowledge. She often asked about the network of scars that crisscrossed his hands. He never told her the truth. The truth was a labyrinth of shadows and pain. Jack Rowan used to be someone else. A combat medic in special forces, a ghost in the machine. He was the kind of soldier they dispatched when diplomacy failed, when the mission was too dirty, too dangerous, too deniable. He operated in places that didn't officially exist, erased from maps and whispered about only in hushed tones. He saved lives under fire, stitched wounds in the suffocating darkness, coaxed breath back into men whose souls were already halfway to the other side. But that was before the explosion that ripped through his world, claiming the life of his wife, Sarah, during a seemingly routine traffic stop 5 years ago. Before he realized that the ruthless drug cartel operating in their quiet county was the same insidious network he'd battled overseas. Before he walked away from everything, seeking solace in anonymity. Now, he drove a delivery truck, hauling mundane supplies to rural stores, carving out a quiet existence for himself and Ella. A constant reminder of his past clung to his wrist, a black rubber bracelet, the faded letters a solemn vow. Never leave a fallen. It was 11 p.m. when Jack finished his last delivery run. The rain, a relentless curtain, hammered against the windshield, blurring the already treacherous road winding through the dense forest. Most people avoided this route after dark, but Jack didn't mind the solitude. He found a strange comfort in the silence. Then he saw them, flashing lights, a kaleidoscope of red and blue, barely visible through the rain-streaked glass. A patrol car, overturned, smoke curling from the mangled hood. Jack's foot instinctively eased off the accelerator. Every fiber of his being screamed at him to call 911 and keep driving, to bury himself deeper into the life he had painstakingly built. Don't get involved. You're not that person anymore. But he stopped. He always stopped. He grabbed a powerful flashlight and stepped out into the deluge. The wreckage was even more horrific up close. The car had clearly flipped multiple times, a twisted metal carcass amidst a graveyard of shattered glass. Inside, slumped against the steering wheel, was a young woman in a police uniform. The badge pinned to her chest reflected the harsh beam of his flashlight, Officer Sarah Miles. She was 29, only 18 months on the force. Tonight, she had been following a lead on the cartel alone. A fatal mistake. Her eyes fluttered open, unfocused. Blood streamed down her face, mingling with the rain. Her vest was torn, revealing a deep, ragged laceration across her abdomen. She tried to speak, but her voice was barely a whisper. "Back up," called them 20 minutes ago. Jack quickly checked her pulse, weak and thready. Her breathing was shallow, ragged. She was losing blood fast. He pulled out his phone, but the screen remained blank. No signal. The dense forest acted as an impenetrable barrier. Sarah grabbed his arm, her grip surprisingly strong despite her condition. "If you run, they'll find it too. They're watching." Jack looked at her, really looked at her. He saw the raw fear, the overwhelming pain, the dawning resignation in her eyes. He saw his wife, not the same face, but the same uniform, the same unwavering commitment, the same precious life slipping away. He took a deep breath, the air heavy with the scent of rain and gasoline. "Then I guess we both fight." Jack ran back to his truck, his movements urgent. In the back, hidden beneath a heavy tarp, was an old medical kit, military grade, meticulously maintained. He didn't know why he had kept it. Maybe for this moment. He returned to the car, his face set with grim determination. Sarah's eyes were closing again. "Hey, stay with me. What's your name?" "Sarah." "Okay, Sarah. I'm Jack. I'm gonna get you out of here, but you need to stay awake. Talk to me. Tell me why you became a cop." She tried to smile through the pain, a weak, flickering gesture. "Wanted to make a difference." "Good reason." Jack assessed the damage. The wound needed immediate pressure. The car was a potential bomb, ready to explode. The acrid smell of gasoline hung heavy in the air. He made a decision. Time to be that person again. Jack worked with a focused intensity, his movements a blur of controlled energy. First, he cut Sarah's seatbelt with his tactical knife. The blade was old, but still razor-sharp. Muscle memory took over. His hands, usually steady, didn't shake. Sarah groaned as he shifted her weight. The wound was worse than he thought, a deep puncture, possibly with internal bleeding. "This is going to hurt," he said, his voice devoid of emotion. "Everything already hurts." Fair point. From his medical kit, he retrieved hemostatic gauze, a trauma bandage, and surgical clamps or tools he hadn't touched in years. They felt strangely familiar in his hands, an extension of himself. He packed the wound with the gauze, applying firm pressure. Sarah screamed, a raw, guttural sound that tore through the night. He didn't stop. Couldn't stop. If he stopped, she died. "Talk to me, Sarah. Who did this to you?" Through gritted teeth, she managed to speak. "Following a suspect cartel. Spa's connection. They ran me off the road." Jack's jaw tightened, his eyes hardening. "The cartel. Always the cartel. How many?" "2 vehicles. Maybe 6 men. They left me here. They think you're already dead. Let's keep it that way." He wrapped the trauma bandage tight, a field dressing not pretty, but effective. The bleeding slowed, and Sarah's breathing stabilized slightly. But they weren't safe yet. The gas smell was overwhelming. The car was leaking fuel, a ticking time bomb. One spark and they were both gone. "Can you move?" Jack asked. "Don't know. You're gonna have to try. On 3. 1, 2, 3. He lifted her, careful not to jostle the wound. She was light, too light. The adrenaline coursing through his veins helped. He carried her away from the wreckage, putting as much distance as possible between them and the imminent explosion. 20 feet. 30. 50. Behind them, the patrol car's engine sputtered, coughed, and then erupted. A shower of sparks ignited the leaking fuel. "Get down." Jack threw himself over Sarah, shielding her body with his own. The car exploded, a blinding fireball that lit up the forest, turning night into day. A wave of heat washed over them, scorching their skin. Metal shrapnel whizzed overhead, a deadly rain. For a moment, everything was fire and noise, a chaotic symphony of destruction. Then silence. Just the relentless rain and the crackling flames consuming the wreckage. Sarah looked up at Jack, his face illuminated by the burning inferno. "You're insane. I get that a lot." He quickly checked her wound again, relieved to see the bandage still holding. He pulled out his phone, but the screen remained stubbornly blank. Still no signal. They were too deep in the forest. "We need to get you to the road. The ambulance won't find us here." "I can't walk." "I know. I'll carry you." Jack lifted her again, adjusting his grip into a fireman's carry. She was dead weight now, shock setting in. He needed to move fast. The road was half a mile away, uphill in the pouring rain with a dying woman on his shoulders. Jack had done worse. He started walking, his muscles screaming in protest. Every step was agony, not for him but for her. Each movement jostled the wound, sending waves of pain through her body. Sarah winced, but she didn't complain. "Tell me about your daughter," she said weakly. "What?" "Your jacket has a drawing in the pocket from Ella." Jack almost smiled. Of course she noticed. Even half dead, still a cop. "She's 10. Smart. Too smart. Keeps asking why I won't teach her how to stitch." "Why won't you?" "Because I don't want her to need that skill." Sarah went quiet for a moment, gathering her strength. "Your wife was a cop?" Jack's step faltered just for a second. "How did you know?" "The way you looked at me, like you've seen this before." "She was. Died 5 years ago. Same kind of setup? Cartel ambush?" "I'm sorry." "Don't be sorry. Just stay alive. That's all I ask." They reached the road, a beacon of hope in the darkness. Jack gently laid Sarah down on the asphalt. He flagged down a passing truck, the driver taking one look at the scene and immediately calling 911. 15 minutes later, the night exploded with sirens, flashing lights, an ambulance, and 3 police cars. Paramedics rushed to Sarah's side, their movements efficient and practiced. They cut open her uniform, revealing the wound, the field dressing. One of them, a veteran EMT named Rodriguez, stared at the stitching with a mixture of awe and disbelief. "Who did this?" The other paramedic shook his head. "This is military-grade trauma care. Whoever did this saved her life. She'd have bled out in 10 minutes without it." Police officers surrounded Jack, peppering him with questions. "What's your name?" "Jack Rowan." "Did you see who did this?" "No. I just found her." "You a doctor?" "No." "Then how the hell did you?" "I used to be a medic. Long time ago." The police captain arrived, Captain Marcus Stone, a 30-year veteran with eyes that had seen too much. He looked at Sarah being loaded into the ambulance, then at Jack, then at the distant glow of the exploded patrol car. "You carried her half a mile, more or less, through a potential crime scene?" "She was dying. Didn't have time to worry about evidence." Captain Stone studied Jack, really studied him. He saw the old scars, the calm demeanor, the way he stood, like someone who'd been in combat. "What's your full name?" "Jack Rowan." "Are you military?" Jack hesitated. "Was. Not anymore." "What branch?" "Does it matter?" "It does to me." Jack met his gaze, his expression unreadable. "Special Forces. Combat medic. Honorably discharged 5 years ago." Captain Stone nodded slowly, as if pieces were finally clicking into place. "We're going to need a statement. Tomorrow. Right now, I need to get home to my daughter." Jack turned to leave. Captain Stone called after him. "Mr. Rowan? Thank you. You saved one of ours tonight." Jack paused, but didn't turn around. Just did what anyone should do. He walked to his truck. As he opened the door, he noticed something was missing. On his wrist, the black bracelet was gone. Must have fallen off during the rescue. He looked back at the ambulance. Sarah was being loaded inside, conscious, looking at him. Their eyes met across the distance. She raised one hand weakly. Wrapped around her wrist was his black bracelet. "Never leave a fallen." Jack nodded once, a silent acknowledgement. Then he drove away into the night. 3 days later, Sarah Miles woke up in County General Hospital. White walls, beeping machines, the dull ache of pain medication coursing through her veins. Captain Stone sat beside her bed, his face etched with seriousness. "How are you feeling?" Sarah tried to sit up, wincing. Like I got hit by a truck. What happened to the case? Forget the case. Tell me about the man who saved you. Sarah closed her eyes, remembering. Tall. Maybe 6'2". Dark hair with some gray. 40s. Calm. Under pressure. Really calm. Like he'd done it 1,000 times. What did he say to you? That I wasn't dying tonight. That he'd seen worse. She paused. Captain? Whoever he was, he knew exactly what he was doing. Military trauma care. Perfect field stitching. He carried me half a mile through the rain. Captain Stone pulled out a tablet and showed her a photo. Is this him? Sarah stared at the screen. Jack Rowan's driver's license photo. Yes, that's him. Who is he? That's what we're trying to figure out. The investigation moved fast. Detective Maria Reeves traced the truck registration and found Jack's address. A small house in a quiet neighborhood. Nothing suspicious. She ran his background check. What she found made her call Captain Stone immediately. Captain, you need to see this. They gathered in the conference room. Jack's military record displayed on the screen. Most of it was redacted, black bars obscuring classified missions. But some details remained. Jack Rowan. Special Forces. Combat Medic. Deployed 7 times to classified locations. Silver Star recipient. Expert in tactical medicine and emergency trauma care. Honorably discharged 5 years ago after his wife was killed. Captain Stone read the name of Jack's deceased wife. Sarah Rowan. Patrol officer. Killed during a drug interdiction that went wrong. Detective Reeves pulled up the case file. The suspects were never caught, but intelligence suggested cartel involvement. The same cartel operating in their county right now. Jesus, Captain Stone whispered. He's been hunting them? Or avoiding them? Reeves countered. He left the service. Became a civilian. If he wanted revenge, he would have taken it by now. Maybe he's waiting for the right moment. 2 detectives drove to Jack's house. Morning. 8 a.m. Jack was in the kitchen making pancakes. Ella sat at the table doing homework. Normal. Peaceful. The doorbell rang. Jack knew who it was before he opened the door. He saw the unmarked car pull up. Mr. Rowan? That's me. I'm Detective Reeves. This is Detective Park. We'd like to ask you some questions about the incident 3 nights ago. I already gave a statement. We have some follow-up questions. May we come in? Jack glanced back at Ella. She was watching, curious. Give me a minute. He walked back to the kitchen, knelt beside Ella. Honey, I need to talk to these people. Can you go to your room and finish your homework? Am I in trouble? No, I am a little, but it's okay. Ella looked worried. Jack kissed her forehead. Everything's fine. Promise. She left. Jack let the detectives inside. They sat in the living room. Small space. Modest furniture. But Detective Reeves noticed something on the wall, a shadow box. Inside, medals and ribbons. Purple heart. Bronze star. And in the center, a silver star. She pointed. That's quite a collection. Jack didn't look. Old life. Detective Park opened his notebook. Mr. Rowan, we've reviewed your military record. You were Special Forces. Combat medic. Expert in trauma care. That's not a question. Why didn't you mention that when we asked how you saved Officer Miles? You asked if I was a doctor. I said no. You asked if I was a medic. I said I used to be. Answered honestly. You were being evasive. Jack met his eyes. I was being private. There's a difference. Captain Stone entered the house. The detectives didn't expect him. He must have been waiting outside. Mr. Rowan, we need to talk. About what? About why a decorated Special Forces medic is driving a delivery truck in the middle of nowhere. Jack stood. Is that illegal? No. But it's interesting. Especially when that same medic saves a police officer investigating the same cartel that killed his wife 5 years ago. The room went silent. Jack's expression didn't change, but his hands tightened slightly. I don't know what you're implying. Captain Stone stepped closer. I'm not implying anything. I'm stating facts. Your wife, Sarah, was killed by cartel members during a traffic stop. The case went cold. You left the military immediately after, moved here, stayed quiet. And now you save an officer investigating that same organization. Coincidence? I don't believe in coincidences. Jack's voice dropped, a dangerous undertone creeping in. What do you want from me? Captain Stone pulled out a chair, sat down. Officer Miles is alive because of you. But she's still in danger. The cartel knows she survived. They'll come for her again. Then protect her. That's your job. We're trying. But we're outgunned. These people have military-grade weapons. Tactical training. They know how we operate. We need someone who thinks like they do. Jack shook his head. No, we need a tactical consultant. Someone who understands combat medicine, ambush tactics, counterinsurgency. I said no. Why? Jack pointed toward the hallway where Ella had disappeared. Because I have a daughter who needs a father. Not a corpse. Detective Reeves spoke softly. Mr. Rowan? If we don't stop them, how many more officers die? How many more wives lose their husbands? How many more daughters lose their fathers? Jack looked at her, then at the medals on the wall. He thought about Sarah Miles, young, brave, bleeding out in the rain. He thought about his wife, same uniform, same commitment, same fate. He thought about Ella. What would she want him to do? The answer came to him clearly. She'd want him to make sure no other kid loses their parent the way she lost her mother. Jack took a breath. I'll consult. Nothing more. I don't go into the field. I don't carry a weapon. I analyze tactics and teach your people how to stay alive. That's it. Captain Stone extended his hand. Deal. They shook. Detective Reeves smiled. When can you start? Tomorrow. But we do this my way. I train your officers in tactical combat medicine. I review your operational plans. And if I say something's too dangerous, you listen. Agreed. Jack walked them to the door. As they left, Captain Stone turned. One more thing. Officer Miles asked me to give you this. He handed Jack a small box. Inside was the black bracelet, cleaned, polished, and a note in shaky handwriting. Never leave a fallen. Thank you for not leaving me. Sarah M. Jack stared at it for a long moment. Then he put it back on his wrist, where it belonged. 2 weeks later, Jack stood in the police training room. 15 officers watched him, their faces a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. Sarah Miles sat in the front row, still healing, but determined. Captain Stone introduced him. This is Jack Rowan, former Special Forces medic. He'll teach you how to survive. Jack stepped forward, his gaze sweeping over the room. The first 60 seconds in a crisis determine if you live or die. I'm here to make sure you live. 3 hours of intense training followed. Tourniquets, wound packing, pressure points. Jack corrected their technique, his movements precise and efficient. He was a demanding but effective instructor. He was a professional, a patient, and a man on a mission. After class, Sarah approached him. Thank you for everything. How's recovery? Slow but steady. She paused. Captain told me about your wife. Did he? I'm sorry. You couldn't have known. Is that why you saved me? Jack thought about it. I saved you because it was right. But yes, I saw her in you. Same uniform. Same courage. Sarah's eyes watered. We're closing in on the cartel. Raiding their warehouse in 3 days. Captain wants you there as tactical consultant. Jack hesitated. I don't go into the field. Just observe. Your judgment could save lives. He thought of the young officers, good people, inexperienced. Fine. But I stay in the command vehicle. Deal? Deal. 3 days later, dawn broke, painting the sky in hues of gray and purple. 20 officers surrounded a warehouse, their weapons drawn, adrenaline coursing through their veins. Jack sat with Captain Stone in the mobile command center, the air crackling with radio chatter. Team 1 in position. Team 2 ready. Team 3 holding. Stone looked at Jack. Advice? Jack studied the screen, his gaze intense. Rear exit. Probably rigged to explode. Keep Team 3 back. That's where they'll run. How do you know? Because it's what I would do. The raid began. Flashbangs, shouting, chaos inside. 6 cartel members were quickly surrounded. Outgunned. Their leader, Vargas, made a desperate dash for the back door, just as Jack predicted. Team 3. Freeze. Police. Vargas pulled out a detonator, a triumphant smirk spreading across his face. Come closer, and we all die. Sarah's voice crackled over the radio. Captain, he has explosives. Jack grabbed the mic, his voice calm and authoritative. Sarah, see a wire from the detonator? Yes, red wire. Where does it connect? Pressure switch on the door frame. Jack's training kicked in, instinct taking over. Don't let him touch that door. Building will blow. Take the shot. Silence. Then Sarah's voice, steady and professional. Copy. One shot. Clean. Vargas down. Detonator falls harmlessly. Target down. Building secure. Officers emerged from the warehouse, leading the apprehended suspects. 0 casualties. Stone exhaled, the tension draining from his face. Too close. Jack nodded. Always is. Later, at the debriefing, everyone was exhausted but alive. Captain Stone addressed the room, his voice filled with gratitude. We took down a major cartel operation tonight. No officers killed or injured. That's because of preparation, training, and one man who refused to let us go in blind. He looked at Jack, his eyes conveying a depth of respect. Jack Rowan reminded us why we wear this badge. To protect, to serve, to never leave a fallen. Applause filled the room. Officers who had doubted him now stood and saluted, a testament to respect earned. Sarah approached him with something in her hands. Jack's Silver Star medal. This belongs here, at the station, so everyone remembers what real courage looks like. Jack tried to refuse. I didn't do this for recognition. Sarah smiled. I know. That's exactly why you deserve it. She pinned it to the wall of honor, right next to the photos of fallen officers. Jack stared at it, his old life and new purpose finally connected. Captain Stone shook his hand, his grip firm. You saved my officer. Then you saved my team. We owe you everything. Jack looked around the room, taking in the young faces, the grateful expressions, the palpable sense of relief. You don't owe me anything. Just promise me one thing. What's that? Go home safe to your families. Every single night. Stone nodded, his voice filled with sincerity. That's a promise. As Jack left the station, officers lined the corridor, forming a silent gauntlet of respect. Each one nodded as he passed, their gratitude unspoken but clear. Sarah walked him out, the cool night air a welcome contrast to the stuffy confines of the station. You changed everything here. You know that, right? Jack looked back at the station, lights burning brightly, officers inside, safe. No, I just reminded them what they already knew. He got in his truck and started the engine. On the dashboard, his black bracelet hung from the rearview mirror, the words clearly visible. Never leave a fallen. He didn't wear it anymore. Didn't need to, because he wasn't leaving anyone behind. Not anymore. Not ever. He drove home as the sun set, his daughter beside him, his purpose clear. The hero who never wanted to be one. 1 year later, Jack stood in front of a small classroom, 20 civilians sitting before him. Nurses, teachers, truck drivers, regular people who wanted to learn emergency medical care. The sign above the door read, Rowan First Response Training, because everyone should know how to save a life. Ella sat in the back row, 13 now, watching her father teach, pride shining in her eyes. Jack demonstrated CPR on a dummy, his movements fluid and practiced. Most people freeze in emergencies. That's normal. But if you know what to do, you can override that fear. Muscle memory takes over. A student raised her hand, her expression hesitant. What if we make a mistake? Jack smiled, his eyes twinkling with warmth. Then you make a mistake. But doing something is always better than doing nothing. I've made plenty of mistakes. People still lived. After class, Sarah Miles entered the room. She wasn't in uniform, wearing civilian clothes instead. She had graduated to detective last month, her career on the rise. Hey, stranger. Jack looked up, a genuine smile gracing his lips. Detective Miles. Congratulations on the promotion. Thanks. Couldn't have done it without you. They walked outside, the sun setting, casting a golden light across the parking lot. Sarah handed him a folder. Thought you'd want to see this. They closed your wife's case. DNA evidence finally came through. 3 arrests, all connected to the cartel. Jack opened the folder, saw the mugshots. The men who killed Sarah. He felt nothing. No anger, no satisfaction. Just closure. Thank you. It doesn't bring her back. No. But it means she didn't die for nothing. They stood in comfortable silence, the weight of the past hanging lightly between them. Then Sarah asked, her voice casual, "You ever think about coming back full-time? Consulting with the department?" Jack shook his head, his answer immediate and unwavering. "This is where I belong. Teaching civilians, giving them skills they hopefully never need. It's quieter, simpler, less dangerous." That too. Ella walked out of the building, saw Sarah, and waved enthusiastically. "Hi, Sarah. Hey, kiddo. Your dad teaching you all his secrets?" "Some. He won't teach me the really cool stuff until I'm older." Jack ruffled her hair. "Because the really cool stuff is also the really scary stuff." They watched Ella get in the truck. Then Sarah turned to Jack, her expression sincere. "Do you know what I realized? You never stop being a soldier. You just change your mission." Jack considered this, turning it over in his mind. Maybe I finally figured out what I was fighting for all along. What's that? Not glory, not revenge. Just making sure good people get to go home to their families. Sarah nodded, understanding dawning in her eyes. She hugged him briefly, a gesture of gratitude and respect. "The world needs more people like you. The world needs more people like everyone. We all have something to give." She left, her silhouette fading into the twilight. Jack walked to his truck. Ella was playing music, singing off-key, her voice filled with youthful exuberance. He climbed in, started the engine. On the dashboard, his black bracelet hung from the mirror, the words visible. "Never leave a fallen." He didn't wear it anymore. Didn't need to, because he's not leaving anyone behind. Not anymore. Not ever. He drives home as the sun sets, his daughter beside him, his purpose clear, the weight of the world finally lifted from his shoulders.